Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. As in the bottom left of 2,000 atmospheres, we have your blue Zerg. His name is ARMANI. And the top right, the red Terran, the machine himself, from Kitesy Gaming. It is innovation. Alright, 2,000 atmospheres. Part of the new map pool. Actually, a map that I really enjoy. I really like 2,000 atmospheres. I think it has a lot of different ways that the races can interact. There's a lot of different interactions, especially with how you take your bases, especially past the third base usually. And I think that causes some of these matches and a lot of the games on this map to be very what's the word that I'm thinking of? It causes them to be very interactive. There's not a lot of games where you just see one person do one thing because the map allows it, and then the other race can't respond. You know, so like for instance, this is going to be a little bit of spoilers if you haven't seen the GSL finals yet. But for instance, even if a +1/+1 timing roach push comes out off 3 bases, it's still, it's still possible for the Terran to hold it. It's not one of those maps where it's just extremely hard. You have to be perfectly prepared. If you have tanks and if you have bio, if you scout out well on this map, you can hold it. There's a lot of high ground to make use of in the main. You can create chokes with buildings around this third base location. So there's a lot of interactivity with how the builds kind of match up against each other on the map. As well, you do have this rock formation by the third base and on this ramp up into this kind of middle ground between the natural and the third. And that also can be interesting in some ways. Sometimes you will see Zerg take these down. I think usually Zerg wants to keep these rocks up though, because this stops the Terran from really having an easy push point up towards your natural and segmenting off their bases. But these rocks do allow as well for Terran, when you're pushing, to try and create more surface area that you can spread out around. But they're also very good tank positions. Overall, there's a lot of stuff on this map that just makes it very interesting, as we have, going to be starting, of course, off with this first Reaper, seeing what he can do to poke around, and it's not going to be all too much. Of course, at the highest level, you expect these players to be able to micro these situations pretty perfectly. And from this, looks like we'll just be going into a pretty fast third racks. It's not incredibly quick. Of course, this is a one-gas opening. On a map like this is very easy for Terran to get away with. You're going to be producing Hellions right off the bat, going to be going into your starport, and then landing your barracks to produce some Marines. And this will help us, of course, shove away the Overlords. But yeah, this is just a very safe and very economical build from Innovation. Of course, I mean, that's what you expect from Inno. He's going to do a standard build. He's going to do it to perfection. That's kind of what makes Innovation. But as we keep going, you are seeing the speed come down for Armani, and then the safety Roach Warren is, I mean, it's pretty much as you have to get the Roach Warren in this matchup in case there is a Hellbat push, some sort of a timing attack. The Roaches are a lot more efficient in the early game to help defend that than the actual Zerglings. That being said, Armani, I believe, just scouts in here and says, nope, I don't need that. Actually, I'm just gonna be going for the straight Ling Bane. So a bit of Armani there being a little bit indecisive. However, does start up that Baneling nest, and from here you have Innovation, of course, going to be going into a stim, getting up Vikings, and then a few Banshees as well to see what damage they can do. The Reaper going into the main. Don't believe it actually sees too much there, but even though he doesn't see a lot of Innovation, you can kind of just assume from this position, all right, well, I see Queens, I see Lings. I'm pretty sure this is going to just be Ling Bane. No sign of any early Roaches. And yeah, that early Roach Warren, I did say it is necessary. It's not completely true. It's for a lot of Zergs like to get it. If you do see a lot of Hellions being produced early on, if you do sense that there's going to be some sort of, it's very like, around 4 or 5 minute push or attack, the Roaches can be a lot better at defending. Hellbats can be a lot better at soaking up damage for your Queens and Lings to then get damage done themselves and clean it up. But Armani just says, listen, I don't need it. I'm going to be going straight into this Ling Bane. And it's that probably mutas eventually. There's kind of a few ways that players have been going around the Ling Bane style. If you look at it, there's obviously players like Dong Riku who just say, well, I'm just going to build Zerglings, Banelings, and Roaches, and I'm going to run over you. And then he eventually adds on Mutalisks as well as his transition. Other players are, just go the straight Ling Bane, and then try and transition that into really early Hive tech off of 4 or 5 bases, getting into Ultralisks. I mean, there's just a lot of variety of it. Ling Bane Lurker, Ling Bane Hydra into Lurker. And then, of course, your Ling Bane Muta. Now, with the 6 gas coming down for Armani, I have to imagine that this is going to be either Mutalisks or Lurkers. As this Banshee actually going to be able to get some damage done. 3 workers already going down. Also, this Viking getting a lot of value. It's a lot of Overlords that had to have been remade, I believe. Yeah, already going to be 3 when that one goes down. So, just with some really nice early pressure here. Now, the 1-1 timing for the Zerg is actually very, very quick. And so he's going to be on equal upgrades with the Terran when this stimmed timing 1-1 push eventually comes out. And that is what Innovation is gearing up for here. He's straight producing Marines, getting up his stim and combat shields, has plus 1-1 on the way, and siege tanks and medevacs. So it will be a very strong push, most likely on that 4th base. Now, while this is going on, Innovation trying to keep the pressure up. With these Banshees not really being able to find too many angles here. Armani in a good position defense-wise. Going to lose 2 more drones, though. You also have the Viking here just hanging out, chilling. He's just saying, hey, what's up, Dead Airspace? What's up, Shark Thing? How you doing? And it loses a few Hellions, but all in all, a really good position for the Terran. I mean, this push is going to be so strong again. Innovation's timings are always just so sharp. You see he moves out, actually. He moves out before the 1-1 is done, because he knows that as long as I avoid the Zerg's army, and avoid this Ling Bane jumping on me, I can just hit as soon as my 1-1 finishes up. And this will be right before the Zerg's is done as well. That being said, there's a lot of Ling Bane here. That is so many Banelings. Armani should be plenty ready to defend this, and he's going to try and push in, but I don't think he can get too much damage done. Hellions will be nice to be able to, actually one-shot the Banelings. But there's just not really a lot that the Terran can do to push in here. There's always the threat of the Zerg jumping on you, of getting this massive surround, which it does look like Armani is going to be setting up. And this should be an easy cleanup, as you have Banelings on into the 3rd, going to get 6 workers. And now at the front, these tanks moving a bit too far forward, and they're not sieged up, so Armani, he's going to take that chance to dive on top of this. Tank's not sieged. Hellbats try their best, but everything has to be picked up and evacuated. Going to be jumping on into the main to see what damage he can get done here. Ling streaming in does actually mean that he can trade quite well before jumping out. Oh, that medevac does go down. And Armani takes a great trade. Already has his +2/+2 started for his Lings and Banes. So he's really not even going to be that far behind upgrade-wise. And we do see he is going to be heading into the Hydralisk Den. And most likely with a Lurker follow-up. I am really liking this out of Armani so far, though. Defends his 4th base extremely well. Has that saturated. Can start working on a 5th base. At either location he chooses. Most Zergs, I think, actually prefer to take it in this top, or in this middle left position. Just because with how easy these first 4 bases are to take, and with how well, if you defend these well, and it is decently easy to defend them with how many angles you have to attack the units of the Terran when they push. It's a lot easier to defend kind of up towards this top left side than it is to do down towards this bottom left, because then you have to worry about the Terran multi-pronging towards this base, which is going to be very, very exposed, and then getting a position here that they can then abuse. So I definitely like Armani here taking this 5th base. Still have the Viking just hanging out, just having some tea. Has made good friends with the Shark now, knows about all of his life story, as this is going to be a cleanup here on this medevac. Drop another medevac full of Marines going down. Armani just taking some good trades. Banelings can't really fight this army, though, as Innovation has just been macroing up. And that's Armani with his +2/+2 finished. These Lings and Banes, they actually will trade extremely well. Usually, I mean, usually you do see Ling Bane trade less efficiently, and you are seeing that here, about 500 more gas and 1,000 more minerals lost. But with the upgrades, these Banelings and these Zerglings are going to tank a whole lot more damage, since they're even with the Terran. The difference is going to come just in the army supplies. You see Innovation going to be pushing on to this 5th, and if this 5th base doesn't go up for the Zerg, this is where it starts to get rough. Because, of course, ARMANI hasn't been able to do any damage across the map. While sure he's been defending, well, Innovation has been saving units with his medevacs. He's been able to get out, he's been able to save a lot of the supply, and that just means that, hey, Innovation has a 4th behind this. He is perfectly good on the macro side, 86 workers. And ARMANI, well, he's going to try and do the best he can. Might actually be able to catch out this small group of army here. Innovation going to try and stim in on it, but that's too many Banelings. That being said, the front is under attack, and you can't really dive on this just because there are so many tanks. ARMANI actually just going to wipe out this... It's kind of... sorry, not retreating, but this backup force that was being rallied across the map. Oh, he's going straight in. ARMANI can see what damage he can get done now into the natural, but the wall is lifted. And there's no damage that can be done there. Zerglings not going to be caught out. They're going to be able to get on out. And now this massive Baneling force still sitting at the 4th, and ARMANI has to take this low ground 5th base in the bottom right. That just means the Innovation has full control over this high ground position. You still see these Zerglings picking off reinforcements, which is just very, very nice for ARMANI as he tries to max out, which he is now gonna be finally getting towards. Has Lurker upgrades on the way? No Hydralisks to really speak of. Hasn't been able to produce them because he's been worried about cleaning up this force. With that being said, Innovation's reinforcements, they keep getting killed, they keep being cleaned up. Oh my god, Baneling's going in on the front! ARMANI pulling the trigger, now with the rest of the Lings and Banes wrapping around, and he should be able to clean up that army. This Banshee has been here all game, and is now dead. But Innovation sees the Lurkers. He knows that that is going to be Lurkers that are on the way. Oh, Innovation, you don't want to get caught out here. You don't have a lot of army left. Ling Bane wrapping around the bio. Pickup will finally come through after the tanks get enough shells down. But actually, ARMANI, he's just pushing through. Banelings onto tanks. Banelings into the Terran's base. These reinforcements, well, it's going to be enough to push the Zerg back. Not a lot of Banelings to reinforce. That means that ARMANI has to back away, but he has his 5th base up. But at the same time, so does Innovation. And Innovation is now getting into 2 tanks at a time, building double Liberators, and getting his 3-3 finished. And behind this, ARMANI is trying to still transition into the Lurkers. That's still kind of what he's having to work towards. He's getting the +3 Carapace, which is, of course, very, very useful. But it's going to take a little bit. ARMANI needs time in order to transition properly. And right now, I believe he has 4 or so Lurkers that are on the way. And 3 more on the way. So he will have a total of 8 by the time that Innovation comes across with any push. But that being said, you know, around this point in the game, this is where the Zerg would usually want to start getting a gas bank. With that being said, this base just might be sniped, and Innovation, oh, it's so good. Gets the 5th base again. ARMANI's economy is just so stunted right now. I mean, you see Innovation just constantly outmining him. He's on 5 bases. He's equal with the Zerg, and he has mules. Getting into ghosts. Getting actually the I forget even what the upgrade is called, but the one that gives your bunkers extra space, gives you some more armor on your buildings. That being said, Vipers and Lurkers into the 3rd, but they can't really do much. Sure, you're going to get a lot of kills with these backup Lings, but it's going to be cleaned up, and now you got to go back across the bank. Innovation's on 3 fronts at once, defending at home, hitting the 5th, hitting the 3rd, and has a wonderful position now. With that being said, the Lurkers coming through. Vipers are here. The Yoinks onto the tanks. Going to clean all that up. But now Innovation boosting on into the main, trying to see what damage he can get done. This is so well played by the Terran, just repositioning away from the army whenever he can. Lurkers, though, have the burrow speed upgrade. They'll be able to push this back. Be able to stop it from really getting too much damage, but ARMANI is going to lose another hatchery. That's 3 hatcheries going down. Innovation barely loses any supply. I mean, just incredible play. from the Terran, as that's a really big parasitic bomb, and this army might actually eventually be cleaned up. Some very, very good Baneling hits. Marine Marauder pushing, or pulling away, actually, from the Lurkers, and now gonna try and focus down another base. This would be the 4th during this push. Luckily, Armani gonna be able to save that one at the very least, but look at the bank. Innovation is constantly producing more. He just has another massive army. Now pushing onto the right side of the map, still has this drop available on the left. And I don't know if Armani can hold this follow-up. There's going to be Liberators, there's going to be Ghosts, there's going to be Tanks. And your Lurkers are good, but unfortunately they can just get sniped away as soon as the buffer is gone. There go the snipes. All of the Lurkers go down. Vipers are here, but it's not enough. Innovation going to death push down, and Armani takes game number 1. And really, really good play there from Inno. I mean, that's, again, Innovation is just a Terran, where if you want the best standard macro, look at Innovation's builds, because he executes them to a T. Had wonderful timing on the 3rd CC, really good with his harass, where he didn't lose a lot of units, and then when the 1-1 push came out, even though it eventually got cleaned up, kept saving units, kept picking them up, picking up Marines and Marauders into the medevacs, getting them out so that he had them available for the next stage of the game. Just a wonderful, wonderful macro, and now Armani gonna be down. Just needs one more win to win this best of 3. Let's get on into it. It's in the top right from a Freak of Freaks. It's your Blue Zerg. His name is Armani. And in the bottom left, the Red Terran going out for just a single proxy so far. Singles SCV on the map. Never mind, there's a second. It's Innovation. He's getting cheesy. Alright. Well, let's see. Armani actually, Overlord. Where's this Overlord rallied? Can't see exactly. But it might be to the right position. I'm trying to look for that waypoint. Is Armani now? I mean, this Overlord, I think this Overlord might just scout it, right? This Overlord, yeah, I mean, this pathing right now from Armani is so good. And again, Zergs are very, very good about this because they know that these, oh yeah, Armani scouted it. Oh, this is going to be brutal for Innovation. We're going to see when that comes into view. Oh no, Armani! Oh no! Oh, this is brutal. Armani thinks there's no proxy. Oh my god. This is gonna be absolutely devastating. I mean, it was perfect there for Armani, and then he microed the Overlord too much. And you see he's now scouting around, he's like, okay, no proxy, everything's clear. Alright, I'm just gonna get at my spawning pool, have my natural base come up. No, Armani! There's a proxy! You're not okay! Oh no, and he's not even gonna see the bunker until the hatchery finishes, and by then it's gonna be almost about halfway done. And now he sees it. And now Armani's, I mean, if there was a face cam, if this was the World Team League and there was a face cam, you would see the biggest side from Armani. This is absolutely brutal. I mean, yeah. Oh, and oh no, Armani! He started the Roach Horn in the second gas, but then cancels it. He's gonna try and just hold it with Lings and Queens. Gonna hope that he has enough. And I mean, he definitely can try. It's definitely very, very possible, but behind this, Innovation is going to be so far ahead. He's just macroing up. He's getting his factory, getting fully saturated onto this one base. We'll have to see, though. Armani, I mean, he might be able to hold it. He is just mass-producing Lings right now. He's going to have, at least, I believe, 18 with 2 Queens. And that can definitely soak up enough damage here to see how to try and break this. And actually, the drones are being pulled, too. He's going to try and save the hatchery. Drones, Lings, and Queens on top of the bunkers. One of them is going to immediately go down. That being said, the 2 workers also being focused down, and now all the lings are gone. It's just the drones. The drones are going to get focused. 7 of them going down. The hop into the other bunkers. 8 drones. And ARMANI holds, but at what cost? At what cost? What did you lose? 8 drones is the answer, as ARMANI now on 13 workers, innovation 23, and this, I mean, this is as worthwhile as it gets, really. And he's going to clean up the lings as well. Innovation can take his natural base. You see the CC planted on the high ground. And from here, as the turn, I mean, you just macro up. Again, that was absolutely brutal. Had ARMANI scouted it, had he gotten vision, this would be completely different. A completely different game. But he just, I mean, 2 pixels. Not even actually 2 pixels. One building placement tile. And that's all it took. And you have these lings at the front here trying to see what they can do to innovation, but nope, it's going to be double pumping the Hellions now. And innovation, he's going to get a full scout. He's going to see, you know, the drone count say, oh, I'm really far ahead. And actually, innovation, he just pops down the fusion core. I mean, yeah, what is the Zerg going to have? I mean, queens. How many queens are there? I believe there's only, what, 2? There's going to be 3 queens. And maybe more. But these BCs are going to do so much damage. Innovation just making all the right calls right now. Going to have his natural base up soon. And you also have the Hellions able to poke the front. You can't help but feel like this is, I mean, this is dire for ARMANI. Of course, there's a chance that you can come back. If you repel the battle cruisers, if you scout the BCs, and you manage to, get up your spores and your queens, and you manage to completely shut it down, there is a chance for you to come back, because of course innovation is, giving up a lot of economy to do this. You see he's only now floating down his natural base. But the issue is, ARMANI has no overlords across the map. I mean, he has no vision. He has seen the CC building, and that is it. Oh, and it's a Roach Warren. Oh no, I mean, you can't help but feel that this is getting from bad to worse. As the third base going down, a Roach Warren on the way. Again, Roaches, I mean, they're better for defending than the Ling Bane, especially when you're stunted on your economy. But Roaches can't shoot up. And there are still only 4 queens available to ARMANI. BC's going to be popping out. We'll see what Inno does. I imagine this is just going to be the TP straight across the map with the Hellions trying to dive in for a backstab. With that being said, actually, Zerglings are going to find their way on in. Oh, innovation. Misses the lift on the supply depot. So this is Zerglings on into the main. They're going to get a full scout of the BCs. They're going to be able to see them. And you see the immediate response. That's 2 spore crawlers being popped down. With that being said, only 2 workers? What? I have no idea how. But ARMANI only gets 2 workers for that. I mean, sure, you get scouting information, but now this follow-up is going to be so deadly. The BC jumps across the map. Not going to be able to get too much damage to start, but the real question is, how much can it get over the long run? Not really able to focus down the drones. Only getting 3 so far. Oh, Roach is on. Gonna see what they can get done. And ARMANI actually, with this Roach timing, might be able to do some damage. But the issue is there's another BC on the way. And I love this push from him. Because, mind you, he's going to be able to, slow innovation down. He's stopping him from mining at the natural base. And he might actually even be able to get a pick on it. If innovation doesn't lift up, he's building an SCV. Innovation can't lift up the natural base. This might just be a kill. There's the cancel on the lift. And now here's the push on in. The BC is here, but ARMANI just trying to get as much damage done as possible. And I mean, this is Lings and Roaches on into the main. It takes a while for this to get cleaned up. That's 12 workers going down. ARMANI, he might have found the damage necessary, but the 2 BCs are back. 22 workers being killed. ARMANI finds the timing. Now the question is, can you defend the follow-up? This is 2 BCs straight on into the main. have Yamato Cannon on the way. That Spore Crawler is not in position, so these two Queens are going to get immediately focused down. Innovation realizing he needs to get damage done and is going to do so. 7 drones already. The Spore Crawler is being moved, and that just means Ito jumps on top of it. ARMANI GG's.